Alright, well, here we have a very quick video on how to safely ship a Hermes 3000, which, here we have a Hermes 3000. This is the curvy model, but I imagine it's the same for the boxy model as well. This is a pretty specific thing here. The goal is to make sure that the carriage is not locked in transit, because as long as that carriage release lever is held down, then these gears are not engaged and they can't be damaged by inertia. Because all the padding in the world inside the box isn't going to help it if the box gets dropped and the weight of the carriage itself gets transferred to those gears, right? So we need to make sure that they stay locked out, and we're going to do that by holding this left button down. There's a pretty specific way that you can do it too. To start off, lift up the paper bale, just to get it out of the way. You're going to want to take the paper guide, slide it all the way over to the far left, because we need to raise up the eraser table. Okay, this gets us to the area that we're going to be looking at. And specifically, we're going to be looking at this little crossbar right here, which should have a spring on it, and the little bar underneath that. Now the bar underneath that is the one where the release button travels, and you'll notice that when the button is pushed in, there's a tiny little slot right there on the left hand side. Try and get a better angle on this here. So see how that's moving in? That's the spot where we're going to be working. Go ahead and let the carriage go all the way to the left so we can work. All you're going to need for this, zip ties. Go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to Wally World, buy the smallest zip ties they have. These are, like 4-inch zip ties, and they're perfect for it. You're going to take a little zip tie, fold it over on itself to where it'll do that. Then we're going to go behind this upper one, and now that's going to come back up underneath the carriage release lever. Let's see where my tweezers go. Oh, there they are. Tweezers help. You don't really have to have them, but man, they really help. So now we have that zip tie around both this upper bar and the shaft for the release lever. So I'm going to go ahead, connect my zip tie. I'm not going to pull it tight. Click it just enough to where it's circling both of those bars, right? And you got to be careful. There's two little springs in there, and you don't want to jar either of those. And here is the trick. See if I can do this where there's some light. We're going to hold that button down and catch that zip tie in that little cutout notch, right? And of course my zip tie's messing up. There we go. So your zip tie should be slid all the way over to the left, sitting in that notch when the button is depressed. And now that zip tie will keep the button in. And it's not the up and down force, it's the fact that the zip tie is stuck in that far left notch once the button is pushed in. Now, without me having to hold the button, the carriage is loose. Well, now you're stuck with a carriage that's loose, right? So what do you do to be able to ship it, because the dadgum thing's all the way to the left? Pretty easy. You go to your kitchen, you get some plastic wrap, and you wrap the back end of the machine. Just easiest ways to stand it up on its butt, just like that, and give it a couple of wraps around, and then pop it into the case with a little bit of bubble wrap maybe inside the case, and then on the outside of the case you're going to want, about 4 inches of padding on each side. I've found that for this particular size, it's also the same for the Olympia SM3. Best size is a 20 by 20 by 16. This still qualifies for regular shipping with USPS instead of oversized, and is available at any UPS store. It's their configurable multi-size box. It's 20 by 20 by insert number here. Anyway, hope that helps. Yeehaw.